Every day, more than 17 veterans take their own lives. By building a gaming community that offers peer-to-peer counseling, GameCore is aiming for zero. Research shows that playing video games together offers social connection, stress relief, cognitive enhancement, and community building. On our Discord server, veterans, active duty service members, and supporters chat and game together. Some casual gaming sessions might only involve 2 or 3 people, while other events might include larger groups and be streamed on the GameCore Twitch channel. Most of the time, there is a GameCore member available to lend an ear to anyone who needs it. Join the Discord server. It's free. We are an inclusive community and we don't require anything of our members. If you want to be more involved, there are always opportunities to volunteer.
All right, welcome everyone to the Tech4Troops Cup Series here on Wednesday nights. Well, here we've got a fun race. We are actually at Homestead for this race, this week's Cup Series event for the Straight Talk 200. I'm Rick Sousa here in the booth with John DeRudris, who is not here at the exact moment. He was here, but a bit of Discord challenges, but he'll return in a moment or two. We are currently underway here watching practice happen with just 8 minutes left before we go into qualifying, and then we will begin tonight's event. So again, thanks for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network here on YouTube. We certainly appreciate those of you who have tuned in and who continue to support us. We've got an absolutely jam-packed field tonight. We have got 35 drivers at the present time, and they've still got, we may have a couple more that may choose to join us with just 7 minutes of practice left. All right, so we've got a lot of housekeeping to cover, so let's get some of that underway. Let's talk briefly about just where we are in this week. I believe, let me just double check 1 second here to see just where we are at. So this is officially our 6th race of the Tech4Troops Cup Series season. So with 6 races in, let's talk about our standings. So right now we've had 6 races. Well, we've had 5 races complete. We have had 4 different champions. Marcus Adams has won 2. Jordan Weaver, Austin Call, and Garrett Johnston have punched their ticket into the chase. But that leaves a lot of spaces open. Obviously, 16 available slots, whether you win or you point your way in. Right now, on the cut line here, it's pretty close, just a point or two separating those drivers on the cut line. So we'll just have to see how it goes and just deal with it. So I did get the word that unfortunately John's internet has gone out, and that's the That's exactly what we face here, since we are an internet-driven simulator and broadcasting group, so we'll just deal with it as it comes. So just getting back to our standings, you can see we've got Alex Linney right there on the cut with John Ledger just 1 point out. Christoph Hall is right there, all within striking distance, and then with many races to go before we start getting closer to the chase itself. Lots of opportunity for these drivers to set themselves up and to show what they've got. We have seen some really strong drivers here. Again, Ty Bostic, he's a Tech4Troops Cup Series veteran, doing very well with David L. Brown and a number of other drivers. Now, we also do have a number of substitute drivers tonight. We do know that, back and double check our roster information. So we knew that Lilith Peters, a former champion and star of the Tech4Troops Cup Series, is subbing tonight for Garrett Johnston. He was unable to make tonight's event, and there is a substitution policy as part of the Tech4Troops Cup Series, and Lilith is filling in for Garrett. And also Dylan, I'll probably butcher his name, but it looks like Drilling, is substituting for David Brown in the 83. So David's right there. He's got a sub driver for him. Also, we do see Michael Anthony. He's in the 14. Michael will be joining us tonight. He is his first race in. He had a previous commitments, but is now joining us here for his first opportunity here in the Tech4Troops Cup Series. So we'll see. Looking for Michael in that black and white 14 right there. He is part of the Balls Out Racing team, who we already have seen have really put up some numbers and have done fabulous this season. Other drivers in that Balls Out group: Kyle Smalley, Jordan Weaver, Walker Thomas. Big group of really talented drivers right there in the field. So, all right, so there's the current standings. But that's the individual standings. We've also got the team standings going, and it is a battle right now between the Rock Motorsports Group and Balls Out, Factory Nexus. They're all super close right now, and we're continuing to see exactly how that all plays. But right now, teams are battling neck and neck. All right. Another item that we've got to cover tonight is that, just like in basketball, you get a tournament bracket. Well, we do the exact same thing, similar here on iRacing with the Tech4Troops Cup Series. And there's money and there's obviously some bragging rights, but right now we do have the GOAT Racing Diecast in-season tournament bracket. And so this is basically how these drivers do at this track, Chicagoland, Darlington, Bristol, and then it all comes down to Kansas. That how you finish will be whether you're able to advance on to the next round. So we've got all those positions are full in that in our bracket. We'll see how it goes. Who makes it into the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and works their way down. We'll keep this updated. And especially if you got your favorite driver, we'll see how it all works out. So brackets coming. I think that's all the basic housekeeping we've got. We just got less than 2 minutes before we go qualifying. We could probably talk about right now. Let's get some info on tonight's event. So for sure, we're here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, just under a mile, 1.48 mile. Not your typical mile and a half, because it's not that traditional D oval. However, I will tell you that turns 1 and 2 drive completely different than 3 and 4. And so we'll see how these drivers are able to deal with this race itself. It is 91 degrees here in South Miami right now in Homestead, so it's a bit balmy at the track. Air temp is 74. but like South Miami, the humidity is oppressive. It is 95% humidity. It is a little bit cloudy, slight breeze. We'll see how that all plays out. For the race itself, we've got 125 laps. Pit road speed is 50. There are no quick repairs in this league, so if you're looking for that iRacing experience where you can come in, get a fresh car, head back out, you wreck it, you own it, and that's just the way it's all going to play out. If you're unable to continue, you got to park it. If you're able to wait out the repairs and get back on the track, make a few laps, gain a position, you can do that too. Again, the funny thing is, as we get closer to the chase, those playoff points, those finishing, anything you can do to avoid that DNF is absolutely important. So we do our best. Definitely recommend you stay in, and you'll see the driver of the pits. We'll keep you updated as to who's in the pits and who's not. Also, we've got 3 sets of tires, 75% fuel. We'll get you some calculations as to what that represents. Initially we're guessing somewhere about 50 laps, somewhere between 45 and 50 laps, but we'll see how that all plays out once we get some green flag racing underway. And also there are 3 green and white checkered restarts if required. Hopefully not so, but they are there. So it's like practice has finished up, which means only one thing, that we are going to get this qualifying underway. All right, so qualifying is underway here at Homestead. Again, if you do have the opportunity to like and subscribe, we would love for you to do that. Keep up to date with what's happening on our network. We've had a lot of broadcasts over the last few weeks, and would love for you not to miss one of those. So right now we do see the number 14 of Michael Anthony on track, qualifying right now. Your second lap will be your best lap. John, you able to get back in?
Able to get back in. My internet decided to go for a little coffee break, so looks like it's good, ready to go.
All right. So right now qualifying is underway. We've gone through all the brackets. We've gone through all the standings. We're just right now working on qualifying.
Fantastic. Well, looking at where the car right now is on track, I think the high line is going to be pretty advantageous here tonight. Looking at Michael Anthony right there in that number 14, it's a line that I think will be slightly preferred for some of these drivers on qualifying. Probably not going to be the fastest, but in the race pace, I think it could be preferred as the race goes on.
All right, so while the qualifying is underway, why don't we go ahead and cover your keys to tonight's event?
Absolutely. Let's go right into those and see what those are. So looking at Homestead, it's a track position heavy race and a tire wear specific race. And so I think that those two are going to be very important here, specifically early in the race. I think that it's going to be very advantageous for these guys to want to save tires early on. And then third, pitch strategy is uber important, specifically when it comes to pitting under green. Rick, turn 4 is treacherous when you come out of turn 4 to try to go down pit road. So trying to do that safely is going to be pretty fun to watch to see on old tires who can make it down there. But track position, tire wear, and pitch strategy are my 3 keys to the race.
All right, qualifying has just got another 2.5 minutes to go. Currently watching Lilith Peters, who was our Tech4Troops Cup champion 2 seasons ago, John?
I believe so, yes. 2 seasons ago, I don't remember if it was last season. Either way, a previous champion here now repping that Publix paint scheme. So excited to see if she's able to win. I think she won the last time that she was in a Tech4Troops Cup Series race here at Homestead. So maybe a favorite.
Here we go. Scott Simley is on track now in the number 11. See if we can bring up some qualifying times. Could just turn a fast lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Down in the 32s, the high 32s. That's a great qualifying lap.
Yep, Scott's currently sitting 12th right now. Kyle Smalley currently sits on top of qualifying at the moment. Number of drivers are still out there making their way around.
There's Jordan Weaver in a Miami style paint scheme. You got the blue, you got the pink, you got the white with the chrome number. Looks really, really nice. And that's one thing I love about this racetrack, Rick. They embrace the Miami colors very well. If you notice that the wall is blue, the inside of the track is blue and that pink.
That teal,
so
yeah.
Very cool to see. Yeah, very, very cool to see even the flag staying that hot pink and some of the cars representing the same colors as well.
All right, with just 20 seconds left to go, who is left, I think? Christoph Hall is trying to get his last bit of qualifying in. The clock is not his friend, though. 9 seconds, 7 seconds. Can he make it all the way around?
No, I don't think he's going to be.
Oh, he has finished up. So there we well, whether he was going to make it or not, it's over. All right, qualifying is complete here. In a moment, we will bring you the grid for tonight's Tech4Troops Cup Series Straight Talk 200 here at Homestead.
All right, let's see who was able to qualify on pole. I would say one of the tougher tracks to navigate, especially trying to get those tires warmed up and run a solid qualifying lap here early on. It's going to be very interesting to see who can manage their tires. But here we go. On pole with a 32.815 is Kyle Smalley. In P number 2, you have Walker Thomas. In third, you have Lilith Peters, Marcus Adams starting there in fourth. Chuck Van Scoik starting in fifth, with Brad Peters starting in sixth. Ty Bostic starting in seventh. Austin Call starting in eighth. Mike Kelly in ninth. And Wyatt Gray rounds out your top 10.
Andrew Baleshi finds himself in 11th with Jordan Weaver to the outside. Scott Simley in 13th with William Caron in 14th. Luke Bullard in 15th with Todd Merkel to the outside in 16th. Aaron Jackson in 17th. Michael Anthony, his first event of the season, in 18th. Rodney Uberpacker in 19th. And Troy Torgerson is in 20th.
In 21st, you have Dylan Drelling in 22nd. Maxwell Caldwell, Cody Sturgill starts in 23rd with Aiden Lucas starting in the 24th position. In 25th, you have Phil Vanderwick. I think I said that correctly. With Greg Stone starting in 26th. Marco Berube starting there in 27th. With Christoph Hall starting in 28th. John Ledger in 29th. And Dustin Coggin in 30th.
In 35th, for 31st, you've got David Watts, Alex Linney in 32nd. Justin Horton in 33rd. Sammy Harrow in 34th. Zach Allen in 35th. And Justin Lewis in 36. I think that's the last spot. That is our grid. That is our field for tonight's event here for the Straight Talk 200 here at Homestead.
Rick, I think it's going to be a very interesting race. Who can navigate the tire situation? I think it's going to be one that's probably going to be a little bit different. Looking at the weather, it's somewhat shifted to an overcast style race, which might play a little bit of effect on how hot these tires get, but I think it could be a fun one, especially once you get the multi-group racing in, and I'm stoked. I'm stoked to call this one of my favorite tracks to call a race because there's so many different lines, and we've seen other drivers in other series such as Forge Berube, Alex Forge Berube in the INRS series. Do very well. So very curious to see how this race plays out here at Homestead and who's going to walk away with the win.
There are a number of drivers that are starting in the pits. We'll have to go back and get all the details from some incidents. You may see some penalties being served. Obviously, this is a well-disciplined and managed league here with the Tech4Troops folks, and every race is reviewed. If there is something that needs some attention, or some decisions are made from an administration perspective, those penalties are handed out just like in NASCAR.
Yep, and they are like that today. All right, here we go. Green flag in the air here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Drivers are off down into turn one we go. Field separated fairly well here. It's kind of spread out as you see the cars about to come into the picture right there. Lovely camera angle. The cars already fighting for position here at Homestead.
Kyle Smalley continues to lead this and will try to lead the first lap.
And one thing you got to be very careful with, especially on cold tires, corner exit. I think that's going to be the name of the game here. You know, not sliding your tires on exit. I think that's going to be a trouble point for some of these drivers, especially if they get a run. You see Ty Bostic, or excuse me, that was the 47 of Austin Call, all the way there in the high line, trying to get this high line working. And that's the beauty of Homestead. You can and run multiple lines if you want to. You can start the race running the high line where it's 1.5 miles. If you start to do that, you're going to wreck. You're not going to wreck, but you are going to fall quickly to the back.
Walker Thomas takes over the lead here at Homestead. Kyle Smalley goes in second, Lilith Peters in third, but she's battling door-to-door with Chuck Van Scoik there in the 23.
Yeah, this is one of the first times that we've seen a goat racing diecast car near the front of a race. Typically, we don't see that team qualify too well, and they make up positions through the race, tire saving, fuel saving, and their pitch strategy, I think, is arguably the best here in the Tech4Troops Cup Series. So seeing what they're able to do at the front is going to be kind of refreshing to see how strong those GOAT drivers can be. Right now, Chuck Van Scoik, your highest GOAT racing diecast driver. We
are 2 and sometimes 3 wide here at Homestead, further on back in the field as these drivers are battling for position. Again, as John indicated early, you know, there's a lot of tire wear that happens here on this track, and as we said in the broadcast earlier in the pre-race, that turn 1 and 2 are completely different than how 3 and 4 drive.
Yeah, you have to approach it a completely different way with a completely different mindset. The braking point, if you are putting brake into it, which I recommend, are a little bit different. The way that you turn the car on exits is very different. And you can slide, as you saw the 9 right there sliding, and he cuts in front of Ty Bostic, I believe. Take that low line. It's all very different here. But one thing that I love about this track is that you can run multiple lines really at any point in the race, depending on how your car is navigating the weather. So right now, looking at some of the facts on the right-hand side of the screen, you know, we see some of this fog coming in as well. It's going to be treacherous once these cars start to have some tire wear, especially on quarter exit. Who can keep the car underneath them? It's going to be a big topic of discussion.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just pure fog or if it's the humidity at 95%, which is absolutely making that low-lying fog, that haze. iRacing has implemented a dynamic feature as part of its weather, and if you let it fly, it's absolutely gonna happen.
Yeah, it definitely is. It looks like in some points the sun is trying to peek out, but we'll see how that actually shapes up once this race unfolds. Right now, your top 10, Walker Thomas out front, Chuck Van Scoik in second, Kyle Smalley in third, Lil Peters in fourth, Brad D. Peters in fifth, into 5 with Austin Call, Mike Kelly, Marcus Adams, Jordan Weaver, and Andrew Pileshi rounds out your current top 10.
Chuck Van Scoik has picked up 3 positions and is currently showing in second.
Yeah, great run for him so far. That's what I was talking about. I'm curious to see how he's going to do with track position. And it looks like Maxwell Caldwell had a connection issue, so he disconnected and now reconnected. So curious to see how he's going to be able to bounce back from that. But right now, we are about to be 10 laps into this 125-lap event.
Looking back through the field, bring up the track information here. It's beginning to stretch out a bit. Of course, with the number of drivers that wound up starting from the pits, I think that wound up being Wyatt Gray for sure. I'm not sure. Let's go back and look at those penalty points, John.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and take a peek at those. Currently trying to see who some of the biggest movers are in the race. Right now, Zach Allen up 9 spots, kind of sitting a little bit further on in the back of the field, but Greg Stone up 9 positions as well early on.
All right, lap 11 in the books here as we continue here at Homestead. We expect tire wear with 3 wide there in the back, right there with the 2 down low. That's Todd Merkel.
Wow. And Rick, it was the 71 that will be required had it start from pit lane today in the next race.
And that was Wyatt Gray. All right, that makes sense. All right, so we're dealing with a little bit of weather and some fog here. We're doing our best. We can't mitigate. We can't help that at all, unfortunately. That's the nature of South Florida and these hot, humid days, unfortunately.
Exactly, but the racing is still going on as Walker Thomas leads the field, still putting out decent lap times. His last lap time was a 33 flat, and I think
got over half a second between himself and Chuck Van Scoy.
Yeah, this cooler weather is definitely playing into the hands of these drivers. It's lowering the track temp. It's allowing these cars to have a little bit more grip. And looking at last year's times, we were seeing times in the low 32.1s. I'm very curious to see how this trend is going to continue as we make our way through the race. And the sun's trying to peek out in certain areas, but overall, fairly forecast with heavy humidity.
Yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. Now, about lap 20, these drivers will begin to see some significant changes in their grip and how that car drives.
They definitely will. And I'm curious just to see what some of these lap times are looking like as well. The front 2 cars are the fastest 2 cars on the track, but a couple drivers I want to pay attention to. Zach Allen running similar times to the leaders all the way back there in 26th. Looking a little bit further up, you have Ty Bostic running actually faster than the leaders that time by. And the car of number 9, Mike Kelly, and Austin Call running similar lap times to the leaders. So we're now getting to that point to see who's burning them up and who isn't. Last time by, Kyle Smalley ran his fastest lap of the race. As you see, I believe that is the, I don't even know what car that is. It says the 30, or is that the, can't even tell.
What are you looking at, John?
Is that the 47? Or that's the 9. The 05. Right, of Brad Peters behind Mike Kelly.
Yeah, 05, yeah.
Yep. Running similar lap times, so overall tire fall off very little, if none. So 17 laps into the run, drivers are running their fastest lap of the race. Scott Smiley just ran his fastest lap of the race that last time by. Chuck Van Scoy ran a 10th off his fastest lap, now 2 tenths off this last time by, so seems to be, to me, in this new tire model and all these different things that have come out from iRacing, that tires are lasting a little bit longer here at Homestead.
Chuck is beginning to start to close that gap down to 3/10 between himself and Walker Thomas.
He's been consistently running better times. Right now it shows that he is better in what technically is Vector 2 on our timing sheets, which is going to be, I believe, exit of turn 2. So, or excuse me, the back half of the track, the way that it's timing up. So, very curious to see what he's going to do as that gap is now nearing almost the 3 flats as we go into turn 3.
If you're a fan of Justin Lewis, he just announced that he actually had to bail and jump out of the session. This is just a simulation, and in real life, he's got a tornado warning wherever he is. And unfortunately, the power went out at his home. So we wish Justin Lewis and his family all the best.
Absolutely, it's definitely thoughts and prayers out there. His neck of the woods. And we're getting some weather over here, Rick, in the studio here in Nashville. So it may pop out here or there, but we'll see how long this thing lasts. Hopefully the storm goes by fairly quick. It looks like a small band. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Here we go.
I'm not sure just where Justin's from.
But alrighty, we are almost a fifth of the way through this race, and it's hazy. And
oh gosh, folks.
That's why we have the tower on the left-hand side that you can see the top 20 as they run.
Yeah, one thing we can't control here in the broadcast booth. We cannot control the weather.
That'd be pretty awesome if we could. Just throw a quick, and I wouldn't want to do this. Throw a quick rain shower in there, freak them out a little bit. No, I mean it might as well be raining. I mean it's ridiculously hazy right now. We actually have a pass going on. I believe that is Andrew Paleschi and Jordan Weaver, and I think that is also the 3 car trying to make his way back through the field. There's a lot of passing going on right now. The 2 is right now beside the 81. A lot of different passing going on.
Well, I would think that would make perfect sense. We're on lap 23. That means these drivers are seeing some fall off. And if you drove really hard, especially through turns 1 and 2 in those first 20 or so laps, you're beginning to pay the price. You are absolutely paying that price, and you've got to really, at this point, figure out how to make it for 20 more plus laps before a green flag pit stop.
Now, some of these drivers might be trying to conserve tire a little bit, but I'm looking at some drivers back in the 20th to 30th positions. We have some drivers running 33.6s, where the leaders are running 33.1s and 33.2s. So definitely tough. I've seen where drivers have somewhat saved in the beginning of a race just to have enough on the back end of a stint to where you're maximizing the tail end of that. But again, those drivers back in 20th to 30th are almost 15 to 10 to 20 seconds off pace as we see one car making his way down pit road.
Yeah, that's the 83 of Dylan Drowling. He is substituting for Brown for tonight's event. But already here, lap 26, time to get some fresh tires.
Yeah, it looks like that front end looks a little bent to me on both sides. Maybe he's made some contact with the wall?
Yeah, maybe so. He's holding there for, I'm guessing, unless you see a penalty, getting some repairs made. He may have tagged the wall. All right, out in front, Walker Thomas. Ooh, that's a tough shot there. Walker Thomas is leading. He's got just about half a second gap between himself and second place Chuck Van Scoik here at lap 28. But as you can tell from the track map, this field is pretty stretched out. Now, who's looking for a caution flag to fly is the number 18 of Justin Horton, or he definitely can get his lap back and get back on the lead lap. Also, you've got the 71 of Wyatt Gray. Let's see where Wyatt Gray is. Curious to know where he is in position with the 18. Looks like about a straightaway difference between the 71 and the 18. But Wyatt Gray is 2 laps down, whereas Justin Horton is just 1. So caution flies. Justin Horton will get his lap back. He'll get that lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. So we're talking a bit about the weather. That's one of the things that iRacing has really done over the past, I say, about a year, John. They made an effort in, especially in competing with other simulations, to bring realistic weather, and that includes rain and rain tires to other series on the platform. But by doing that, that has brought realistic weather to any given race. So in effect, if you were to look often at the weather in the venue that you're at, it's recreating that same venue, and you're racing what the current conditions are. So I'm guessing when this race was set up, it's got the conditions at that day in Miami.
I would agree. Yep. It's set for today, actually, and so if you would look at the weather, it probably is going to say the same exact weather pattern, as it's very hard to see, and it's difficult to see in the car. And let's actually see if we can go on board with our leader here, Walker Thomas, see what he's seeing out of his visor. Doesn't look nearly as bad in the car.
Yeah, because we're trying to see through from our camera angles directly. He is pretty much on the track at track level. Better shot. Now he's got a lap car in front.
Yeah, and he's only running about 5/10 off the leader's pace. Excuse me, 5/10 off his qualifying pace in his best lap of the race. So about 35, laps into this run, and we are already seeing these cars only falling off about a half a tenth, specifically in the lead. So very, very curious to see how long these drivers will stay out here. His tires in these specific conditions, which we weren't prepared for. I mean, it was a bright sunny day in practice, and then it all turned once the race started. So definitely it would affect my keys to the race just a wee bit.
So it looks like, is that the 43 of Sammy Harrell that's right there?
I think it is. That is correct.
So he did not make it easy for Walker Thomas to get around him. He fought pretty hard to stay on that lead lap.
Still fighting. Because then look who's right behind him.
Yep, that's
Chuck Van Scoik.
Yep, that's a teammate.
He's still battling side by side. Rick, this may open up the door for that 23 to swoop in and maybe take the lead.
Yep, it definitely is holding up the leader. Of course, at this point, Sammy takes the high line, gives the low line to the leader, Walker Thomas.
Watch a crossover here. There it is.
Yep.
You may see Sammy Harrell, I don't know if he'd be aggressive enough to pull a slide job. Definitely not enough room for that, but battling the leader tough out of turn 4.
Side by side, not willing to give up his position. Walker tries the high line, see if that's going to give him a little bit more speed. I think
and
caution is out.
That's why you stay in front of the leader. Actually, was he in front at the time of caution?
He did not. He did not stay. He will go a lap down, unfortunately.
Well, he should have the lucky dog.
He does.
Yep. So caution out on the track, about 40 laps in. Let's see what that last caution was for.
Yeah, it looks like possibly Troy Torgerson, unfortunately, was involved.
The way that these cars are spread out, that might be a single car spin. Oh, there he is, already sideways. See the 12 sliding up the track, going to make contact.
Yep, a little bit of help there. He had lost 39 had lost its grip and unfortunately got a little bit of help by the 12. 39 kind of holds it.
Let's see if he's going to back into the wall, I think. Yeah, he's going right for that wall. Pretty square hit, though, on the back. Should be okay.
A little bit of fresh tires. Of course, at this point, it's probably a good time for everybody. And just like that, on cue, we have the entire field coming on down onto pit road.
And I'm going to watch Lilith Peters here. Stopped in the box almost identical time as the one of Walker Thomas. Let's see if he can... Oh, that's a bold move. Somebody take 2 tires?
I see all 14 plus. Nobody I see took 2 tires. At least that's what the telemetry is telling them.
Interesting. Well, Walker Thomas retains the lead.
But Lilith Peters now takes over second. But our first caution of the night comes out here at lap 38 for a spin by Troy Torgerson with a little assist by Aaron Jackson. We're going to take a quick commercial break. You won't miss anything. We'll be side by side. We appreciate you tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network.
Are you looking to add to your diecast collection? Well, visit GoatRacingDiecast.com. Explore one of the largest collections available with the options for pre-orders, new inventory, and the GOAT's personal collection for over 25 years. There's an option for every level of hobbyist. Ship direct. Personal custom diecasts are available. Shop the GOAT Racing merch store. And if you're a driver, apply for a sponsorship today. Turn your hobby into a passion and head on over and shop GoatRacingDiecast.com.
All right, if you like what you see, maybe not the weather, but feel free, if you could, go ahead and click on that like and subscribe, and we'll keep you up to date. We do a full season here on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights with our INRS Racing Series on Thursday. They also will be at Homestead tomorrow night, and we'll see. That should be an exciting race.
Should be.
All right, lights are off on top of the pace car. We'll be going back to green momentarily.
Alrighty, let's do it. Oh, you can barely see. Man, they got the poles in the way now. Green flag back in the air here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm not even sure why that camera's there. I can't see anything, Rick.
Right, I know.
That's a weird camera, but hey, we got one right now that's going to show this battle of the 15 right on the inside of the 51, trying to make her way. That is Luke Peters to the front of this field. And caution's out, wrecking in turn 1 and 2. Oh, it might be the 64 machine,
Christoph
the 18
Hall.
machine.
for sure.
Got a car, I think, stuck in turn 2 right now. I
That's-
think, is that Justin Horton?
No, that's the 98 of Christoph Hall was
Mm.
kind of trapped by the banking there and pinned against the wall. Well, cautions do breed caution sometimes. Let's take a quick look at what happened to Christoph here. Oh, hang on one second. Let's bring that back. There's definitely contact with the 47.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Guys are all on fresh tires, and here we are headed towards corner exit.
But watch the 18. The 18 just tags the 64. And the 98 spins. Does the 18 tag the 99? Yeah, he does. Gets both of them right there. And then
it's the 83.
Or 83. Oh, in the right rear of the 98. Tough break for the 98. He got hit from 4 different angles.
All right, a number of drivers have made their way onto pit road. Austin Call, Troy Torgerson, Cody Sturgill, Christoph Hall, obviously from that that incident. See if they can just see what his damage is in that 98. But up front, here we are. We've got the one of Walker Thomas. Hopefully he can see better than we do.
I think he may have better views.
Troy Torgerson, he is exiting off of pit road. He had pretty minimal damage from that that previous incident. He looks pretty much in good shape. I don't think Christoph Hall, though, is in the same condition.
Not at all. Rick, it seems like cautions are breeding cautions here early on. I should say early on, about almost, halfway here in about 20 or so laps.
On board with the Jordan Weaver 0.
And looking at drivers who came down pit road, this is pretty interesting. You had some drivers pit on 42, a little bit further on in the back.
Yeah, those are the guys that were involved in that last incident.
So I'm curious just to see how that could work on fuel. They can go 50 laps on a tank of gas. So 42, 92, yeah, even the drivers on 38 would make it. So not a matter of fuel conservation or any fuel savings truly on that side.
Nope, 44 laps in the books.
Yep, I just checked the in-car fuel gauge here, and it says 50 laps even. So pace car's off. We're about to get restart number 3 underway there in the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air here at Homestead. As the field, as you can see, some drivers already letting out of the gas early on. It's kind of interesting to see the flames pop out of the side of some of those cars. As we now make our way now through turn 1 and turn 2 onto the backstretch here at Homestead. Sun, you can see the reflection of the sun of the cars. So the sun is trying to make these.
That's positive. Better, we're hoping.
We hope. We're almost 3 wide out of turn 4.
So really, if you pit on lap 38, if you stay green, 48 to 50 laps is your friend. You'll wind up somewhere around lap 80-ish.
88, yeah.
And then you're good to go.
Yeah,
one more stop.
88 to 90. Yep. That's all it's going to take. One more stop as we see battling now between the 22 and the 34. You also have Brad Peters, Marcus Adams, Jordan Weaver, Chuck Van Squik all battling for position here as the two leaders kind of check out just a little bit. But we just saw Kyle Smalley run the fastest lap of the race that last time by a 32.717. Some drivers putting in their fastest laps of the race last time by as well.
Looking on back to 10th, that's Ty Bostic right there. He's just behind the 05. Oh, and the yellow's back out.
You got a caution on the track.
It's like Greg Stone in the 5 have spun.
Yep, that is correct.
Also, I think Dustin Coggins was involved, as well as Cody Sturgill.
Let's see what we... Oh. The contact was early.
That's a familiar paint scheme with that 5.
Just a little bit, as you see him already getting loose right there. Runs into... No, that's not Terry. Runs into the 5. The other 5. Comes back up the track. Oh!
16
Nowhere
gets a
for
little
those.
bit. The 39 has unfortunately got involved there as well.
That's a bad feeling, facing the wrong way on the front stretch. And
Drivers still making their way around him.
yep, in a motorsport event, that's one of the worst feelings in the world.
I don't know who that other 5 is for some reason. We again, as we said earlier, we do have a number of substitute drivers here. All right, going back to the front, Walker Thomas continues to lead. Let's drop off that graphic there. But we do see that Evan Amick posted and said it's an iRacing thing. They're supposed to be doing a patch to fix it. Okay. So there was a huge update just earlier this week as the next batch of software, iRacing, continues to release updates on a regular basis, but unfortunately this seems to be an issue with the weather simulator, and hopefully this gets fixed.
I think it will, because it's fun to race in different conditions, especially when the conditions are overcast and the conditions are, a little bit better. But right now you see that's what it's supposed to look like. We're supposed to have some clearer photos and images for you there. But even for these drivers, it's hard to see. I mean, the building in turn 1 is, you can't really see the texture in that, and so definitely affecting the drivers just a little bit as well.
You can check. You're saying what? Why is that that driver speeding up and slowing down? Well, actually, he is clutching that car. He is turning it off or pressing the clutch all the way in. You'll see the RPMs drop from like 3,000 down to 300. So he's actually shutting down the car and then restarting it to save fuel.
I like it. Fuel saving early on. Interesting move. What that does is just shorten up the back end of the second stint that you'll have to run after you come down pit road. We're probably going to see more of that as the race goes on.
I expect it. Yep. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Tech4Troops Cup Series here at Wednesday nights, here tonight at Homestead for the Straight Talk 200 here on the IWM Broadcast Network. We're about to go back to green flag racing here in Homestead.
Here we go. Pace cars down and green flag back into the air. Major checkup on that inside line. We are off and racing. There goes Chuck Van Scoik to the bottom lane.
Walker Thomas continues to show the way. Mike Callie finds himself now up to second.
Yeah, he was doing very well on these set of tires, so curious to see how that tire saving is going to go. Oh, the 51 tag the bottom there. See what this is going to do as that car in P2 trying to mount a charge up to the lead.
Mounted it. He absolutely did that.
Yep.
A little farther back, we are 2 and 3 wide. Back underway here at Homestead.
Yeah, the 51 was able to get to the low side of the 9, trying to make that pass, but forced to the bottom. 9's going to get a great run here. 51 trying not to slide up. 9's kind of squirrely on the back end, but makes the pass and secures P2.
A lot going on just behind.
Yeah, you see the 0 all the way up to the top of the track, right outside of Little Peters. And the 31 now trying to follow suit as the 0 tries to go to the low side of Chuck. Chuck shuts the door. And here comes the 31 machine of Marcus Adams, multi-time winner here this season, locked into the playoffs. He's not going away anytime soon. As the 51 now takes second place, that is Kyle Smalley up to P2. Here comes Chuck now to the inside in turn 1 on the 9 of Mike Kelly. Chuck gets a good run off the corner. He might be able to make the pass.
Just saying, you burn up your stuff pretty easy here on this track. And if Mike Callie put a lot in to try and get up to the front, he may not have a whole lot to keep it up and to battle back.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. He may have just overheated the tires just a little bit here. And we saw that long run before our first caution. So I expect us to have another one of those long runs. So let's see if he can let those tires cool off just a little bit and maybe try to mount another charge as we see the 0 and the 31. That is Jordan Weaver, Marcus Adams side by side as now the 15 is going to the very top of the track. Right there, just came in the picture. As the 51 is now taking some of that middle line approach, which I like that line. Now everybody almost single file. 15 is a little bit loose there out of turn 4. See the doubles or the 0s go to the inside. 6 cars on back. Here they come out of turn number 2, rumbling past us.
Good battle up front between Thomas, Smalley, and Van Scoik.
Yeah, the battle is now within 0.3 of a second. First, second, and third, all under a blanket as those cars get tight in second and third place. And here comes the 51 to the outside of the one of Walker Thomas. One of the first times we've had anybody try to contend for that lead today. Kyle's done it on that low to medium line, and we'll see if he can make the pass here.
Pokes his nose out a bit.
It's a slightly better run off of turn 4. Now he's not on that low line anymore, as the one's there, still there, not clear. Here comes the 51 back to the outside, a little bit of the run out of turn 2. See if he can maybe bring it down just a little bit. I think if he was able to get alongside that one, he'd be able to get a great run. But here he goes out of turn number 4. One tries to slide up, not going to be able to do it. 51 leads that lap and is almost clear for the lead.
Great battle between the 51 and the 1 here at Homestead.
One got a little loose out of turn 2, which may give 51 of Kyle Smalley the lead. Kyle takes the high line. He's going to try to do it off of pure momentum here in turn 3 and turn 4. He might have what it takes as the 23 now dips in behind the 51. Still not clear just yet. That one drove it in there fairly deep this time.
Still battling.
51 ran a little bit of a lower line, trying to take that low line away from the 1. Getting a great run. Here comes the 23 now entering the picture. Now, if that 23 can get to the back door of that 51, give him a little bit of a shove, that 51's going to take that lead. And Ricky's still not clear just yet. That 1 is not going to give this up.
Well, let's not forget that Walker Thomas and Kyle Smalley are both part of the same team. They're both with Balls Out Racing, so those are teammates battling it out there.
They are, and what this has done is this has allowed the 31 to enter the picture, so enter in another factor into this battle. 31 looks strong on the inside. Chuck trying to take that line. But here comes the 31, gets the 1 a little bit loose there off of exit. And the 51 may have enough to clear him. I think he does. 51 takes the lead.
All right, 51 out in front, but I don't think it's over yet. There's a lot of battling still happening here up at the front. I wonder if some of these guys may have burned up a lot of their stuff. They pitted last on lap 38. So that's nearly 30 laps ago.
Yeah, those pit stops are coming pretty soon. In the next 20 laps, 25 laps, I'd say, to make it to the end, as we see.
We've just eclipsed the halfway point here at Homestead, so about halfway down. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You won't miss anything. We'll go side by side.
Hello, my name is Jack Raymondson. I manage business development here at Tech4Troops, and I'm my second year with this amazing veteran nonprofit owned and operated by veterans for veterans. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps as an amphibious assault crewman from 1992 to 1996. I also served in the U.S. Coast Guard from 2002 to 2007, joining after 9/11 as an operations specialist, then serving as an instructor at Coast Guard Training Center, Yorktown. I also spent many years as a first responder volunteering as an EMT and fireman. I'm here at Tech4Troops because I believe in our mission to empower veterans and their families with the gift of computers and technology training, as well as our outreach to help curb veteran suicide while providing a safe and meaningful community where veterans are treated with respect and dignity. We are aiming for zero veteran suicide through gaming and other program opportunities. We help veterans regain a new sense of purpose and help them see they have a brighter future ahead of them. It truly is an honor and my pleasure to serve my fellow veterans and help give them a leg up. 2024 is Tech4Troops' 10th anniversary year, and I ask that you help us support our veterans and their families with a computer donation and or greatly needed financial contribution so we can help every last veteran in need. Together you and Tech4Troops can be change makers. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the IWM Broadcast Network. We are at lap 69 here of 125. It's a battle up front. The 51 of Kyle Smalley is being chased down by the 23 of Chuck Van Scoik.
Yeah, Chuck is battling that one car right now, the teammate of the 51, but doing a great job. We'll see if the 51 decides to go to the low line here in turn 1. Does not, as the 51 is somewhat using that seam, was a little bit higher that time by, but using the seam to guide his racing line as the one has a massive run right now. Definitely going to take that low line as both the 23 and the 1 close up to the back of the 51. 23 of Chuck Van Scoik slowly drifts up the track, a little bit loose there, but is going to be in the draft of the 51, going to pull both those cars right along. As we start to see these tires fading away just a little bit. They are about 4 to 5 tenths off their fastest laps at the moment here. So the tires are definitely playing a factor, but not as much of a factor due to the fog. The fog in these conditions are playing into these drivers' hands very nicely. If it was a hot, slick day here in Homestead, Miami, the race would look pretty different. But as it stands, Kyle Smalley in first with Chuck Van Scoik sitting in second. Walker Thomas in third. Mike Kelly in fourth. Aiden Lucas in fifth. Marcus Adams in sixth. Jordan Weaver in seventh. Will Peters in eighth. Brad Peters in ninth. And Luke Bullard rounds out your top 10.
Trying to find some better camera angles here. Try and keep it at least somewhat watchable. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, some camera angles are better than others at specific points of the track, and some are very blurry. But here we go. Chuck gets to the inside of the 51 off of turn 2. A great move now as he side drafts that 51 down to the backstretch. See if he can take that lead. He may go down to the bottom side and slide up, middle on out, try to take the lead. He does. Well, Chuck Van Scoik, your leader, but watch out for the 51. Is going to get a run. 51 of 30 or 23 blocks the inside line. Gives the 51 the low line there as we now jump on board with the 51 of Kyle Smalley.
Door to door with the 23, who just really had a good run out of that backstretch and jumps right down in front of the 51.
He does. Now the two teammates are battling side by side. Here comes the 1 now on the back doorstep of the 23. 23 goes low. 1 goes high. 1 goes very, very high. Trying to get that run off the corner. He will get a great run off of turn 2. Look at the speed right there. But can't he do anything with Chuck running that low line? But now entering the picture, you see that 9 car, Mike Kelly.
These guys have we're on lap 75. These guys have burned through a lot of tire at this point, a lot of heat in those tires.
Yeah, but they're still running, 4 or 5 tenths off their fastest lap. So there's still some speed in these tires. I mean, their best lap early on in the run was a 32.9. Last time by, the leaders ran 32.2. So
it's only about a half a second of fall off.
Yeah. Oh, the 1's drifting up a little bit. 1 gets arrow loose off the 23. As we have side-by-side battling now for third place. That is the 9 on the inside, the 51 of Kyle Smalley on the outside. We got ourselves a battle here at the front.
Yeah, we haven't been able to leave this front. There's just all this drama going on.
The 9 car tries to take third away from Kyle Smalley. Not successful yet. Oh, the 9 hit the apron. Is going to drift up just a little bit. As the 51 prevails there. Oh, the 9 not giving it up just yet. But the 51's been running that seam the entire race.
Trying to hold on there. Of course, he's got the 34 of Aiden Lucas right there. Good run for Aiden. He's currently showing in 5th.
Aiden Lucas doing a great job.
So we're expecting green flag pit stop sometime in the next 10 laps. Or frankly, at this point, they could come down any time.
Yes, it's just kind of a matter of what these drivers want to do. I mean, they can make it to the end of the race. How close do you want to cut? It's a question. Great run here, though, from Walker Thomas. See if he goes to the inside. He does go to the inside of the 23 as we battle now back into turn 1. The 1's drifting up a little bit. The 23 is not going to let that 1 get the line off the corner. Still side by side.
1 had a huge run. He just came up. He just barely brushed the safer barrier. You saw sparks fly, but he had such a huge run, and he is right there to the inside of the 23.
Yep, he makes contact. They keep it going in the right direction, but watch out for the 51. The 51 might take advantage of this. No, he stays back. That 1 car wants that lead, but the 23 of Chuck Van Scoyk is not going to give it to him easily.
It's got a little bit of breather right now, but that may not stay for long.
Now the 1 of Walker Thomas trying to get another run off of turn 2. Probably going to do the same thing in 3 and 4. Try to get to that high line, get that run off the corner, which is very, very, it's very achievable here. As you can start to see him slowly creeping in to the picture of the 23.
All that has been happening. We've got some good movers. The 34 of Aiden Lucas up to 6th right now, but he's plus 18 spots.
That's amazing. That's running an amazing race right there for the 34 machine. Some other movers throughout the race. John Ledger up 18 spots as well.
Pit stops are happening. Peters, Bostic, Karen, and Sammy Harrell all on pit road.
Yeah, and I think it's one hand to the other, honestly. I think, though, these leaders need to pit somewhat soon.
Oh, just got word that the 22 of Bostic was caught speeding on pit road.
Oh, no.
That will cost him.
Well, sometimes pit road police will get you, sometimes they won't. And here in Homestead, they got Ty. Hate that for you, Ty. As looking to see, no other penalties have been issued. We continue on with just 51 laps to go here. Excuse me, 41 laps to go here in Homestead.
Yeah, right now you are inside that pit window.
See John Ledger now on pit road. As the 1's all the way up into the wall, made some major contact there. Still's going to get a great run off the corner.
A bit of a breakaway of these top 6 cars. They've got almost top 7 cars, right? They've got nearly a 2-second lead over Scott Simley, who's sitting back in 8th. Looks like there's a go-around for the 64. That's Cody Sturgill. He tried to make pit road, but didn't happen. He'll have to try it one more time.
Yeah, Scott Simley now running a little faster laps than the leaders, actually. Kind of surprising there. But still, this lead pack is tight. 1 car is trying to make that high line work and trying to do everything he can. He's not able to close the gap to the 23 of Chuck Van Scoyk, who's doing everything that he can do. I mean, 1 hit that wall again. I mean,
I think he's just burned through his stuff.
Well, here we go.
I'm thinking that car is just has all push right now.
Yeah, well, I think he's leveraging that wall to try to get that run, which you can do. I mean, it's very easily able to do as he now breaks down pit road. Oh, the 9 sideways, hold on to it. No way. Those cars were flying.
They were. You'll have to check and see if there's any penalties issued to those guys.
I don't see anything right now. So
right.
The one of Walker Thomas potentially going to try to do the undercut here on the leaders. Has a little bit of gap to do that. Let's see if Chuck Van Scoyk in P1 or maybe Kyle Smalley there in P2 decides to make their way down pit road. I hear the 12 possibly could be pitting this time by, and here comes the 23 down pit road.
Locking it up.
He's all good. He made it. I watched his speed.
One of drivers on pit road. You've got Kyle Smalley, Marcus Adams, Jordan Weaver, Aaron Jackson, all on pit road at the moment.
Walker Thomas just now exiting turn 2 on the apron. So that's going to be the battle for the lead that we want to pay attention to once pit stops cycle through. So the one car of Walker Thomas just now making it into turn 3. He is now in the middle of turn 3, now exiting turn 4. You see Chuck Van Scoyk now leaving pit road. Now he's going to be able to get up to speed. And the one car is just now entering turn 1 right there. This is going to be a battle off of turn number 2. Literally, it's going to be close. What is that 23 going to do? 23's right there. Here he comes up the track. There's the 1. And the 1 was able to barely leapfrog, but get caught behind the 91. It's going to open up the door for the 23.
Chuck's going to be careful. Those are fresh tires.
Oh, he's pushing hard. He knows he can take advantage of it right now. And the 1 just barely leapfrogs Chuck Van Scoyk. Walker Thomas back in the lead once we cycle through pit stops.
Right. Right now there's a lot of traffic on the track. Mix of drivers who are in need of a pit stop. Right now, Aiden Lucas is out there in front. He needs to come in, as does Todd Merkel and Wyatt Gray. And
yeah, he's just...
Oh, he missed Aiden Lucas.
No.
Yeah, Aiden Lucas missed his entry into pit road.
His race is now completely shot because of that. I mean, that's a huge mistake. I mean, he may finish up in the top 15, but that's a huge mistake there. Up already 19 positions before the pit stop cycle started. So tough break there for the 34.
Yeah, on this track specifically, you've really got to plan your pit entry. Pit road comes up quick, and if you think you can just make it through the apex of 4 and drop in, no, you can't.
Exactly. We're now looking on at the 1 car of of Wyatt. Wow. Walker Thomas. Jeez, this scoring pylon on the left-hand side is confusing me. But looking at the 1 of Walker Thomas trying to navigate this lap traffic here with the 23 of Chuck Van Scoyk trying to hunt him down. And side-by-side racing is not what that 1 wants, but it's what the 23 does. As they are now navigating some of these back bumpers.
Andrew Plushie in the 91 right there. The 05 is there as well with Brad Peters.
Yep.
If you're a lap down car, you don't want to damage anybody's race. Man, Chuck Van Scoyk just turned a 32.68 that last lap.
Wow, fastest lap of the race for anybody right there. As you see the 91 trying to get around the 23, almost like he's battling for position there. I think that 23 of Chuck Van Scoyk is still not clear.
There he is.
Yep, he is now clear now with just 30 laps to go at Homestead. Wyatt Gray, still your leader with Will Peters and Walker Thomas hunting down. Now, Wyatt Gray, we've seen him do this before. Now, he is 23.5 seconds ahead of these leaders.
But he needs a pit stop.
Yeah, I just don't think the tires are, I just don't think the long run game here is the play. We saw on 33 lap tires that you can still run mid 30, 33 threes, 33 fours, and he's running 33 nines. Those tires on the back end of that run are just not going to, they're not going to be able to run, I would say, that slow unless you absolutely destroy your tires. So right here for Wyatt.
It's a fuel game right now.
Yeah, I guess.
So
if I were him,
if he's got a 22-second gap, he's got to come in.
Yes, he
because
does.
it's only going to erode.
Yeah, I mean, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to make it to where that last pit stop's as short as possible so he can run as hard as he can. But I just don't think he can make up that much time.
It's going to come down to 25 laps.
Yeah, I mean, now, I'm not going to say the word, but if that C word happens, he's sitting in prime position. We'll see what happens.
All right, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network.
Are you looking for a way to safely and securely dispose of your old electronic devices? Why not donate them to Tech4Troops? Tech4Troops is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to bridging the technology gap for in-need veterans and their families. The donation process is quick and easy. Simply go to tech4troops.org and click on the donate link at the top right-hand side of the page. Scroll down to access the Give Back box link. To create your shipping label, click Add to Cart and complete the checkout process. The shipping label is good for up to 50 pounds. You can recycle most standard shipping boxes to send in your devices. Oh, don't forget the power cords. Give new life to your old technology by responsibly recycling with Tech4Troops. Help save the environment and support a veteran.
All right, welcome back to the Tech4Troops Cup Series here. Lap 99 in the books. Right about now, turning on to lap 100. You just saw as we were going to commercial break, the 71 of Wyatt Gray was attempting his stop on pit road. Unfortunately, he spun coming into pit road. No penalty, but unfortunately, he was a bit sideways on pit road, and that cycled him back. Wyatt Gray is back on the track after making his pit stop, but he finds himself now in 22. Walker Thomas continues to lead. He's got the 23 on his tail with just 25 laps to go.
Yeah, he's right there. This is going to be a battle, close one to the end here. Both drivers, two best cars of the day, but don't forget about Kyle Smalley. Kyle Smalley's right there as well. All these drivers have been battling each other all day long, and Lilith Peters still there in P4. So obviously Lilith has not come down pit road yet, I don't believe, or has she?
She has lapped 82.
82, so a little bit early. I think those tires are not going to be as strong in the back end of a run. But if we get a caution, that's the whole track position game, but you're gambling there. So we will see how this race plays out here with 24 laps to go.
There are 27 cars still on the lead lap. If a caution does fly, the 99 of Marco Berrubi will get his lap back.
Rick, I'm telling you right now, these leaders are running faster than their fastest lap on their first stint. So they're definitely getting more comfortable with the car, with the tire, with the conditions. More rubber's being laid down. It looks like these three drivers right here are going to produce an awesome battle to the end, because all of them are within 4/10 of a second or 400th of a second every single lap of each other.
Pretty amazing.
And that's what it all can come down to. After an hour or so, it all comes down to 4/10 of a second. Here comes the 23 trying to close the door, or I guess open the door to the lead. Trying different lines here, but it looks like that one of Walker Thomas has been somewhat committed to the high line, where Chuck Van Scoyk has been committed to that low line, but the 51 is that one seam up line. So all three drivers running different lines, but it proves that you don't have to run what everybody else does. You can do your own thing and try to be up there in front. Here we go. They might be side by side. Off of turn 2, the one got a little squirrely off of the middle of the corner. Going to be a big side draft now from Chuck. He's there. Can he make the pass on the low side? I think that one's going to have a heck of a run off of turn 4. No, he slides up. He does the slide job, Rick. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe he did that. But that was amazing. I got it. It looked a lot scarier from my other camera angle, but what a move from the 23 Chuck Van Scoik to take the lead with 20 laps to go. Now it looks like Walker Thomas is going to have that run off of turn number 4. Will the one go low or will the one stay high? The one is going to stay to the high side.
Doing everything he can to find a way around the 23 here.
And I'm watching the way he runs the high line. He almost it's like a high diamond, essentially. Like he goes into the corner, slides up about midway through.
Well, let's ride on board with
diamonds
the
off. Yeah.
He just tagged the wall again. So that's your leader right in front. That's 23, and we're watching. We're on board with the 1.
Oh, he drove really deep into that corner, all the way against the wall. But now he's going to cut back down.
Barely.
Yeah. I wonder what that's doing to his right rear, Rick.
He's downshifting there to try and get a little bit more of a push here. He's using that wall.
He definitely is. It's not costing him any, though, as we see the 23 trying to get around a lap car right there. Tags the wall, I think, again right there. I couldn't tell from the other angle I have. Oh, boy. Is the one going to try to go 3 wide here and make a move? No. 47 drops down to the low line.
One's doing everything he can to try and work his way up and get in a position with the 23. 23 has just found his groove.
That low line has worked very well for him. He's been able, I mean, it looks really rough. He's sliding the exit like crazy, but he's still keeping the lead. So it's working for Chuck, and the 51 now is trying to join the party to see if he can potentially make a splash, but he's just minding his own business. He's not pushing it too hard now, trying to mimic the line of the 23 with just 15 to go this time by. And now here comes the 51 to the inside of his teammate. That 51, I think, might be a little bit stronger here later in the run than the 1 car is. We saw the 1 of Walker Thomas fade just ever so slightly.
Well, these drivers are now having to be faced with a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, there's not only 1 car in front of the 23, but there seem 3 more on my camera angle.
That's Alex Linney in the 42. That is the last car on the lead lap, and he goes down.
The 1 and the 51 are right there. Oh, the 1 got a little loose there. It's going to open up the door for the 51 to try to go to the inside here off of turn 4. What I've noticed is once these drivers switch lines, it's very difficult for them to adapt right off the fly if they, or right off the bat, if they jump down to another line or jump up to the high side immediately. So you saw the 1 struggle there in turn 3 and turn 4. Now goes back to that high line, and you see the 23 now trying to make a pass. Oh, 51 got really loose out of turn number 4, going to open up the door for the 1. And here comes the 1 now, down to the low line. I think he might drift up here. Able to keep it down there.
You back the one, that's Walker Thomas in the 1, Kyle Smalley in the 51. Those are teammates trying to claw their way back up and have something for Chuck Van Scoik, but there's just 12 laps to go here at Homestead as this race begins to enter its twilight here. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network. We're dealing with a little bit of fog here at Homestead.
A little bit of fog and a little bit of teammate battle. The more they battle, Rick, the further that 23 is going to get in their mirror. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So Kyle Smalley needs to make this pass on the 1 because I think he's faster than his teammate right now.
Let's jump on board with the 51 of Kyle Smalley. See how he approaches it. He's kind of adopting almost the same line as the 23 is.
And it might just work right here off of turn number 2. Not gonna work.
No, one's right there. One's got this amazing run out of these corners that he's able to leverage with that high line.
You gotta pull, Dale Jr.'s favorite word, slide job. You just gotta do a slide job. And I think the 51 needs to kind of go in a little bit high in turn 1, drop it down, and slide right in front of the 1. The 1 just tagged the wall. This is the chance that the 51 needed. If 51 can take second place, if he slides up in front, he's not going to do it. Nope, not quite. While all this is happening, Rick, a driver who's been running faster laps than anybody in the front 4 is Mike Kelly. He's entered the picture now.
Mike Kelly now finds himself in up to 4th.
Still in front of his teammate. You got to take the line.
Again, back to back here, side by side. The 51 and the 1 are battling. That just, as John said, that just helps out that 23. And Kyle Smalley is around. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, I mean, he takes that spot, but now he goes to the middle of the high line. The first time he's run that line all race long. See what he's able to do. Gets a decent run off of turn number 2.
But here comes the 9.
Yeah, the 9's right there. 51 goes back down to his middle lane right there, and the thing with the 51 with Kyle, he gets a great run into the corner, but also gets a great run out of the corner. He's kind of, the best of both worlds right now. As he's closing the gap now, cut it in half. After getting in front of his teammate, Walker Thomas. Now the 9 clears the 1 coming out of turn number 2. And now we may have a 3 or 4 horse battle now.
Just down to 2/10 right here. 51 is just closing on the 23 with just 6 laps to go.
Oh, 23's dancing on exit. That 23 has, I would imagine, burnt up the rear end of those tires, or the rear end of that car with his line. Now he takes the line away from the 51. Smart move from Chuck, but the 51 slightly adjusts his line. Going to get a little bit of a better run off the corner.
And here comes the 9 right there. Mike Kelly is right there within 4/10 of the leader.
And within about 4/10 of the leader as well in front. Oh, here comes the 51, maybe to the outside. Not quite. They both get loose. 23 sideways. Oh, boy. Chuck made a little bit of a mistake off of turn number 4, and that gave the 51 the lead. Your new leader, Kyle Smalley. Rick, I don't know if we're going to see another pass. Kyle looks very strong right now.
They do have some lap traffic in front. I think that's a 54. David Watts right there as the 51 tries to work his way around. 23 is trying to get back to the front, but he's got 4 laps to make that happen.
That's actually the 64, I think, of Cody Sturgill, teammate of Chuck Van Scoik.
Here's Chuck there, trying to get right in behind the 9.
64 is not going to make it easy off. Oh, he lets out of the gas. Smart move there from the 64. As we now have just 3 laps to go. Can the 9 catch Kyle Smalley? Can Mike catch Kyle?
He's got just 2 tenths to close, but just 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. I think if you're the 9, I mean, he's been able to claw his way through the top 10. He seems to get a better run off of turn 4. I think that's going to be his best chance to do it here this lap or next. He goes all the way to the bottom side where the 51 takes that middle line. The 51's going to slightly slide up after the corner. The 9's right there. White flag in the air here at Homestead. Who's going to bring it home? Kyle Smalley or Mike Kelly?
Big battle here up in front.
The 51 sliding a little bit, Rick. The 9 might have one more chance here in 3 and 4. Oh, here we go. The 51 takes that low line. The 9 takes the low. Oh, here he might have a chance. He might get below him here. Here we go off of turn 4. 9 gets sideways.
Loose. 9 sideways.
Not quite, though. Kyle Smalley wins. Mike Kelly in second, and Chuck Van Scoyk finishes in third.
Man, what a great race. All right. Whew. Great battle towards the end amongst these drivers. But Kyle Smalley punches his ticket.
Into the championship, Rick. He's locked in.
Locked into the chase. Absolutely. And as he celebrates, we'll bring you those race results. I think we've got them.
All right, here we go. Kyle Smalley wins tonight's Tech4Troops Cup Series event from Homestead-Miami Speedway, brought to you by Tech4Troops and Goat Racing Diecast and the IWM Broadcast Network. Locks himself into the championship with Mike Kelly. Great run in P2. Chuck Van Scoyk in third. Walker Thomas in fourth. Marcus Adams in fifth. Andrew Pileshi in sixth. Jordan Weaver in seventh. Lils Peters in eighth. Brad Peters in ninth. And Michael Anthony in 10th.
Scott Simley finishes in 11th. John Ledger in 12th. Aiden Lucas in 13th. Rodney Repacker is in 14th. Wyatt Gray in 15th. Aaron Jackson is in 16th. Todd Merkel is in 17th. In 18th, you've got Phil. And 18th is Phil Van Noortwyk is in 18th. Luke Bullard in 19th and William Karen in 20th.
In 21st, you have Troy Torgerson with Christoph Hall finishing in 22nd. Zach Allen, 23rd. Cody Sturgill, 24th. Alex Linney in 25th. Austin Call, 26th. Sammy Harrell, 27th. Marco Berube finishes in 28th, with Ty Bostic finishing in 29th. David Watts in 30th. Justin Horton, Dylan Drelling, Dustin Coggin, Greg Stone, Maxwell Caldwell, and Justin Lewis round out 30th through 36th. Rick, got a great battle at the end here at Homestead, separated by a tenth and a half.
Wow. What a great finish. All right, let's bring in Chuck Van Scoyk into the broadcast booth and talk to Chuck. Chuck, well, I'd say congratulations on P3, but I know that is not the finish you wanted.
I don't mind it. I suck here. I really don't. The only car I'm good at here is the trucks. I ran in a championship race in an Xfinity car and just ate my tires up, and same thing here. I can't rip the wall like everyone else, so I had to go at the bottom. And then, I started getting a little bit of distance from him, so I was like, all right, I should be good. And I just kept going. Then all of a sudden, probably about 5 laps left, the car just didn't want to turn the way it was. And so then I just tried to keep a second place finish, and then got caught up behind some lap cars, which killed me. Coming out of 4, I gave up 2 spots because they were road blocking us. And then, I just held on, and I just had to pinch Walker down. So, that's one less person I got to worry about getting a diecast to. I'll take the hundo if I can get there, but I made sure he wasn't getting past me. And then, and if I do win, if hell freezes over and I do win, obviously the person I beat in the championship, I'll take the money. They can take the diecast.
All right. It was a great race. We certainly had a great time watching you lead for as long as you did. But congratulations though on your finish. Shout outs tonight.
Obviously to you guys, great broadcast as usual. Thanks, John, for the shout out there on your. I'm busier than what with that. The post, the video of my custom I made for you, so I appreciate that. Elliot, putting up with. It's a better group, I think. Better group of, I guess, tempered drivers this season, so a little less of what Elliot has to deal with. People seem to be understanding and talk instead of whatever. But and then I can ramble off my whole team, but I think I got a freaking army at this point. Sammy, Christoph, Scott, Mikey, Aaron, CJ, Maurice, Ryan, Lucas. And if I'm missing someone, they'll probably yell at me when I get back down there. Yeah. And just good hard race. And Walker, me and him beating and banging. And I think that's what killed me and him even having a shot to win. Is I saw Kyle and Mike just hanging back there, and they definitely had the better strategy, watching us beat each other up. And then me and him just had nothing left except to beat each other up even more. So other than that, it was good. It was nice not to get wrecked. It's nice to talk to you guys. It's nice to not finish 15th or deeper. People coming into this league and they go, "Oh, the previous champion, he sucks." Well, hopefully I'm not that bad anymore. Hopefully I got lucky and through it. I've had to bring the Goat Lives Matter car back because the other one's just bad juju.
All right. Well, there you have it, P3, third place finish for Mr. Chuck Van Skyke. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
Got it. All right, with that, let's bring in Mr. Mike Kelly, who really mounted a great late run here and a big challenge. Mike, congratulations. Welcome to the broadcast booth.
Hey, thanks, man. Good to be here finally.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about that last challenge after that last pit stop and your approach to getting up front.
Well, I knew, we'd all been kind of running under a blanket the whole race, Chuck and I, and then Kyle and Walker. We seemed to be pretty close. It was probably going to come down to, who had the best tires there at the end. And I think it was me. But after the pit stop, I was a little bit behind for some reason. And then I didn't get through traffic as good as those other guys did. So I just kind of took my time because I knew they were up. I could see them up there, the three of them, pushing each other pretty hard. So I just kind of backed it off a notch and thought, well, I'll just, see what happens. And lo and behold, I was about 1.8 behind them, and they kind of started catching Chuck, and they weren't really battling, but they were all right there. And I just started whittling away, and I felt really good about having a shot to get to them. But then we caught 2 more lapped cars that one went high and one went low, and I lost some momentum running through the middle in between them, just enough, to slow my run to the front down enough to where I caught Kyle a lap or two too late, because I think I had a good run on him there to beat him at the fin. I actually had a chance to make a good run on him. Oh yeah, we were watching. And I had a great run, and I just couldn't. My brain would not, my foot would not listen to my brain and say, just lift a little. And I didn't, and I got loose. So, but 1 or 2 more laps, I think he was definitely in trouble, because it seemed like my car was really good on the long run, and so was theirs. But it seemed like at the end of the run, the tires would hit, depending on how you'd done with the wear. It seemed like the tires hit, like that's what happened to Chuck. He was, he had everybody covered, and he had about 10% more wear on the right front than I did. So I think he went over that edge, kind of an edge there, and he fell off, and I wasn't too there yet. So I was really coming there at the end. But it was a good race, and I don't really like this track, so couldn't see all night. It's like, I don't know if that fog was in my brain or if it was actually out there on the track. But
well, it was definitely in the broadcast. We can attest to that.
It was like the Chicago Philly football game back there a few years ago. But
Yeah.
all in all, it was a fun race, and Chuck had a really good run. Would have liked to seen him pull off the win there if I couldn't get it, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations. Any shout out tonight, Mike?
Just shout out to the whole GOAT Racing team. Looks like we had a good scoring for points tonight on there, and thanks to you guys in the broadcast booth. Always appreciate the hard work you guys put in, and look forward to going and watch that. Everybody at IWL Tech4Troops. Hey, I just remembered I've been up here before. All the sponsors of the league. It's great to have good sponsors for a good league like this, and it makes extra special things happen that they do, and gives drivers, some form of recognition and a chance to win money or prizes and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. And shout out to all the viewers and my smoking hot wife.
There you go. All right, there's your second place finisher who that gave the most important shout out of the night. Absolutely. Right. And with that, we'll welcome Mr. Kyle Smalley to the broadcast booth. Kyle, congratulations on your win.
Thanks, guys. That was a really tough one to get.
Man, I thought your teammate and yourself were battling. I think let me rephrase that. You were working together and then battling, trying to get around the 23, and it finally paid off for you. You certainly were, I guess, towards the end, you had a little bit more stuff than I think that Walker did.
Yeah, he pitted just one lap earlier than us, but he was also running the top a lot throughout that last run. But since he was running the top, I didn't want to side draft him on exit just because that would slow us both down. So I figured just let him get in front of me and take his draft. And then luckily, somehow, I got to Chuck, and then I think I just put the pressure on him, or Charles, I'm sorry. I just put the pressure on him, and he got loose off the floor, and then I had to hold off Mike, which he came out of nowhere. So just that was a really tough win to get, but I'm happy to get it.
Yeah, Mike was saying maybe if you had a couple more laps, it would have been even possibly challenged you. But we were watching. You were fast all night. We saw Walker, Chuck. There are a few guys who really took advantage of the different lines here at Homestead.
Yeah, I mean, just basically, just got to get clean air on your bumper to make good lap time. If you just follow the person in front of you, you're just gonna burn off your right front, which was weird tonight to burn your right front off more than your right rear. Normally it's the other way around, but I just messed with my brake bias a little bit and was able to get to the win.
All right. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, of course, all my guys at Balls Out Racing. It's fun every Wednesday to do this with them. You guys were doing the broadcast. Elite Designs, Diecast Fans, which is on the card today. So use D fans to get $6 off shipping on your favorite diecast from Circle B Diecast. And that's about it.
So next week we jump to Chicagoland for the Cookout 200. What's your thoughts on that mile and a half?
It's a lot similar to Vegas, which I did pretty well last week until the backstretch. So that was good redemption for tonight for that. But yeah, hopefully Vegas, or last time I ran Chicago, it was a lot of running the middle towards the top. So if it's like that again, it'll be similar to what it was today, where it was just get clean air on your bumper and then you'll be fine.
All right, there's your winner of tonight's Straight Talk 200. That's Mr. Kyle Smalley, who now punches his ticket into the chase. And we wish him next week. John, any comments?
I just want to say amazing race, amazing win. It's great to see, drivers battling it out for the win, especially that close. And so, yeah, make sure to tune in next week and also tune in tomorrow night for the INRS at Homestead again. I think there will be clearer skies, but either way, check out what all we have here on the IWM Broadcast Network. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. We're almost to 2,000. Before the broadcast, I know we were at like 1996, so we're right there. Yep, we're really, really close. So appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching the races we put on here in the IWM Broadcast Network.
All right, folks. We appreciate y'all, and have a great night. Good night.